Alright, we have just gotten to Texas and we are sitting in a bunch of mesquite, overlooking our bait pile that's out there somewhere. And we're all set up with our shooting sticks and rigs, and this is the last you're going to hear from me until you see the pigs through the scope, because I don't want to talk any and spook anything off. This night started out at 75 degrees, and you can see it was sunny, and then as soon as the sun went down, we ended up at 40 degrees and the wind blowing at 30 to 40 miles an hour, and it got miserable. We were seeing deer all over the place. Here's just a couple that came out right as we were about to leave our first spot, which we later learned that hogs had come back to anyway. We finally saw these hogs as we were moving in to our second spot from our first spot, and we were having a little trouble getting set up on them, about 75 yards-ish away. But my friend that was hunting with me, who was on the 308, had a monopod and was having a really hard time getting steady. Funny thing was, as you're about to see in this video, we got both of our kills, and yes, spoiler, there's only two, but we got both of them on video, each through the other person's scope, because we both had trouble recording video on our own scopes. The first time on this one, he had forgotten to hit record, and on the second one, I bumbled and hit the wrong button on the scope and didn't get the video started. There you can see, as soon as he shot, that hog dropped straight down, and it's flopping around over there, kicking up dust. As soon as he made that shot, the other hog that was standing there that I was planning on shooting after he did ran off, and I did not see it again. I was mostly concerned on making sure that this hog was down, so I took another shot, which ended up, I don't think I hit on that second shot. I didn't get up from that spot, and we went over and recovered him right from there. Okay, here's the second hog of the night, and we were actually in the blind for this one. The video is going to start and the shot's going to happen very abruptly because he got his scope on just in time to catch the shooting, and I did not have mine recording, so you can see these hogs in pretty good detail. You gotta take it if you got it. And the others ran off, and we never did see them through the scope after that first one. But here we'll do it in slow motion, and you can see he got the scope focused just on the right instant, and you can actually see my bullet run in there and hit him. That's pretty cool. Alright, so we're here back at the blind after the second hog down. And see if I can zoom in and let you see it there. Well, my night vision on the camera is not going to go that far. But there's that hog. Do I now? Let's see. And the other one is laying somewhere over here. But anyway, two big nice hogs down. The first one with the 308 laying up over there in the corner. And then second one with the grundle, which looks really cool under night vision. So we're just camped out in this blind here. Got small little windows. It has been howling furiously. So we are glad to be in the blind now. The first one we shot while we were coming up to the blind. We are going to sit here. It is about 8 o'clock. It's 8:15, and we're gonna keep sitting here till about 1 a.m. So I should have thought to take a video at this point and show you the size of these hogs under the light of the barn while we were hanging up to skin. But at this point it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and we still had another hour's worth of processing to do before we could get in and get some sleep before the next day's hunt. So these hogs were about 200 pounds each is what we estimated. Again, it's kind of hard to see through these pictures the scale of them, but they were pretty decent size. I'd call them medium hogs, at least from the ones I've seen in pictures. Again, this evening in this sit, I saw a ton of deer. At one point there were 4 all standing out at one point right in this area that I'm panning over right now. And they were a little spooky when I actually stood up and waved at them. I still could have stood up, waved at them, sat down, taken a shot, were it legal for me to do so, and would have gotten one no problem. But this group of deer came back in several times. Alright, now is as good a time to talk to you guys as any. I'm situated in the blind. This is the second night. We ended up going in early last night because the weather was just brutal. It was 40 degrees-ish, dipping down to 35, which doesn't seem too cold, except the winds were blowing at 30 to 40 miles an hour, and it was absolutely miserable. And then it started to sleet, and it was just terrible. So I'm very glad that tonight is better, and we are in separate stands right now. We may get back together into the same one later. Let me show you what I'm looking out over at. I left my rangefinder back at the truck, but got this pond here. The edge of the water I'm estimating to be 75 yards from me, maybe 100. And then the other side of the pond there, somewhere between 200 and 300 yards, but I guess I don't know. Like I say, I left my rangefinder back at the truck, and I am not too happy about that, because it would be really handy to know. But the bait is sitting out. Well, maybe you can see it on the ground here. Yep, there it is, just a little corn sprinkled out, not a whole lot. The deer have been trying to eat it off. One thing I forgot to mention, the weather for tonight is supposed to be a ton better. Looking at still temperatures in the mid-30s to lower 40s, but almost no wind, like 5 miles an hour with gusts to 8. So that is hugely better than 30 to 40 mile an hour. And I'm looking forward to it. I did pick up, and they're laying over there in the corner, but I did pick up a Carhartt coat to go along with my overalls. So after a while here, when the sun goes down and the temperature drops a little bit, I'm probably just going to bundle up and sit still and sip my coffee and wait for something to happen. Yeah, super excited to see how this night goes. Coyotes just started howling, and it sounds like they're right behind me. If one of those comes across here, you better believe it's getting a spear gold dot. There it is. Wounded him on the first shot, killed him on the second. You saw the second. Oh, should I put another one in him? I suppose I should. It was about 200 yards away. Maybe closer to 300. Didn't have time to get my earplugs in, but I wish I had. This hog came out, and the moon hadn't risen yet, but I could hear him there because I could hear him crunching the corn. He was that close. I lined up on him. I was trying to get my ear protection in because my ears were still ringing a little bit from those shots on the coyotes, and I took just a little bit too long, and well, you'll see it here. My lead looked good, but I think he was a little too close. I could have had that lead at about 100 yards from what I've researched, but I should have probably led him just a little bit less for a running shot at that close distance of probably 50, 60 yards. Never did find him. Kind of looks like an old movie, 3D infrared, doesn't it? The illuminator's not turned on. But the moon is out full, so I can still see pretty well. Just to give you an idea, I will flip the illuminator on. You're going to see a little washout, little weird spot when I cross in front of the bar. Yep, so there's that. And here's the spot where I'm watching for hogs. Pretty sure I missed that first one. It ran off over there. I'll go look for it later though. Just heard a gunshot over Jaden's way. Hopefully he got one. So what I had heard was his gunshot, and I'll show you a little bit of what he was seeing through his scope here. He said that he thought that every time he turned on the illuminator, they were seeing a little bit of red light coming from the illuminator and going back into the brush before coming back out again. He spent quite a while waiting for a bigger one to come out of the broom weeds that were behind him, or that were behind these smaller hogs in front. But he said that they just never came out for a clear shot, and eventually all of them went away. They kept spooking at just the littlest things. Let's jump forward to his shot here. From everything I can tell, I'm slowing down the video, this shot looks absolutely perfect, but he never did find any blood. He searched extensively in the area around here and just couldn't find any sign of the hog. Well, there is my only kill of the night. Small coyote. Pretty one though. You can see the bullet went in there, and I want to show you the other side, or I'll get kicked off YouTube. But and you can hear his siblings hollering in the background. I had stepped off the distance to this coyote right before shooting this clip at 225 yards to where he ended up laying, which is my current record for longest shot on an animal, and certainly longest kill with the Grendel, so that's good. One more funny thing here before we close. There was this flickering light in the sky, and we were looking at it, kind of filming it through the scope, trying to figure out what it was, and it kept moving back and forth a little bit. We finally decided we thought it was a weather balloon, most likely, but at 2 in the morning, sitting there looking at it, wrapping up the hunt. We were kind of delirious anyway. It was kind of goofy to banter back and forth about UFOs for a while. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Didn't get nearly as many hogs on this hunt as we planned to, but the ones we did get, we cut up as soon as we got back to our home state and got them all cut up, and we each got about 12 or 13 pounds of sausage out of each one, as well as pork chops and roasts, and what we have eaten so far has been absolutely excellent. So again, thank you all for watching. We are certainly going to do this again, and I hope to bring you more hunts in the near future. Have a good one.